We talked about how this is written to this rich young ruler, and Jesus talks about how it's difficult, impossible, really, for somebody relying on riches to enter the kingdom of God. And we have this tendency to think, well, I'm not rich. And so we pressed into that a little bit and found out if we are living in the United States of America in 2021, we're rich. We are filthy rich compared to a lot of the other parts of the world. And we are filthy rich compared to probably even this rich young ruler. We are living lives, and most likely living lives better than this rich young ruler. The things that we have at our disposal, the ease, our finances have bought us an ease of life that no generation prior to us could even dream possible. And what that has afforded us is laziness. And what I have found, because if you're poor, if you're really poor, I mean, you have nothing, not even enough for the basic necessities of life. Sloth equals death. There's no room for sloth. You cannot be a lazy person. You will not survive, physically or otherwise. But in America, my goodness, we're in a crisis now of people not wanting to return to work because they're finding that they're living perfectly fine without working, and in some cases better without working than they would be if they returned to work. I mean, it's a crisis. It's crazy, and I think it's a crisis in our church. I think it speaks to the ever-increasing biblical illiteracy that we have, the ever-increasing just apathy and just the laziness that runs in our church. As I speak to other men in their spiritual journey, and they put before me struggles and difficulties they have in following Christ, and specifically in practicing those means of grace, Bible reading and prayer and journaling and meditation and all of these things, it boils down to, I mean, we want to look at what's the deep root of this. Is it Satan stopping me? And yeah, there's some of that and all of it, but a lot of times it just boils down to the fact that I'm completely lazy. And so this passage speaks directly to us in that way, if that's where we find ourselves. That what are the riches in our life that have afforded me this laziness or this complete distraction? What am I being? If I'm being lazy, I'm usually doing something else. Video games, Netflix, whatever it might be, just scrolling endlessly on social media. There are just so many things that we can certainly do without, that we can get rid of, cut out of our lives, to not be so lazy. When we look at like the Puritans and just even like Charles Spurgeon and some of these older guys, Jonathan Edwards, I mean, look at this. These are the complete works, the works of Jonathan Edwards, okay? And these are 2 volumes thick. Then when you look at how small, I don't know if you can see that, they've packed a ton in this thick book. I mean, the writing is, I need a magnifying glass to read that effectively. So how did they come up with all of this content? I mean, they just turned out all of this content constantly. They weren't lazy, and they didn't have distractions in their lives to stop them from doing that. And so instead of vegging out on Netflix or YouTube or TikTok or whatever, they read and studied and wrote and prayed. That's what they were doing. They didn't have, those other things just weren't available to. So it's more difficult for us today because there are things they didn't have to cut out of their lives. They didn't have them. We have all of them. We have nothing but distractions, and those distractions cause this laziness and this lazy posture. And so, man, we need to not be lazy. We need to not be lazy when it comes to following Christ, and that is easier said than done. It starts with examining my life and finding out what riches are in my life that are causing me this diversion, this laziness that's in my life, and can I get rid of that and put that again, replace that with something that is good for my soul, good for my spirit, draws me closer to God. And if you find yourself in this place, please don't think that it's going to be, tomorrow's going to be a brand new day and you're going to get rid of all those things. Pick one distraction. Be prayerful about it with God. Pick one of those things, just one. And lean into God with all you've got and say, God, I want to get rid of this. I don't want to be like this guy. I don't want to be like the rich young ruler. The whole world wants to be the rich young ruler. Christian, you and I don't want to be the rich young ruler. We want to rid our lives with everything and anything that hinders us from following Him. And I think sloth, I think laziness in this country in this time, based on just my own personal experience in life and my working and talking with other men, is near the top, if not top of the list.